I have to add myself to the stream before I can start talking. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 38th favorite dad in the family community, Papa West, Jacob West, here for another exciting episode of TMG Takes the Field, the weekly show where we talk about sports. And it's that great time of year where it's just football again. Obviously, World Series did come to an end last week. Dodgers are your World Series champions, beating the Blue Jays 5-4 in extra innings, going on to 11 innings. And yes, we are a little early tonight, as Jeremy Potter says in the chat. Celebrity guest picker, not available at nights. So we're going to go a little early. It happens sometimes. But that was baseball, a wonderful World Series going all the way to Game 7. 2 extra inning games, I believe. So very exciting there, too. Now for the great time where we just talk about football. In the world of college, Memphis beat Rice Friday night 38-14. Saturday, Ohio State beat Penn State 38-14. Indiana beat Maryland 55-10. Georgia outlasted Florida in a very close game, 24-20. Ole Miss beat South Carolina 30-14. NC State ended Georgia Tech's perfect season, getting the win 48-36. Texas beat Vanderbilt 34-31. SMU beat Miami 26-20. Notre Dame beat Boston College 25-10. Texas Tech beat Kansas State 43-20. Oklahoma beat Tennessee 33-27. Virginia beat California 31-21. Louisville beat Virginia Tech 28-16. Utah beat Cincinnati 45-14. Michigan beat Purdue 21-16. West Virginia beat Houston 45-35. USC beat Nebraska 21-17. And that means change up in the overall rankings. At 25, we have Tennessee, 24 Pittsburgh, 23 Washington, 22 Missouri, 21 Michigan, 20 Iowa, 19 USC, 18 Miami, 17 Georgia Tech, 16 Vanderbilt, 15 Louisville, Virginia at 14, Utah at 13, Oklahoma at 12, Texas at 11, and then our top 10, Notre Dame, Oregon at 9, Texas Tech 8, BYU at 7, Ole Miss at 6, Georgia at 5, Alabama at 4, Texas A&M is bumped up to 3, and we still have Indiana at 2 and Ohio State at 1. And then our Week 11 matchups. Again, another Friday night game. USC is hosting Northwestern. And then on Saturday, Indiana is traveling to Penn State. Georgia is traveling to Mississippi State. Number 7 versus number 8. BYU is traveling to Lubbock to take on Texas Tech. Ohio State's traveling to Purdue. Ole Miss is hosting the Citadel. Number 3, Texas A&M traveling to 22 Missouri. Number 9, Oregon's traveling to number 20 Iowa. Miami is hosting Syracuse. Vanderbilt's hosting Auburn. Washington is traveling to Wisconsin. Virginia's hosting Wake Forest. Louisville's hosting California. Alabama's hosting LSU. And Notre Dame is hosting Navy. So a lot of fun, interesting matchups. And again, major implications for overall conference championships. So we'll definitely see what the season is looking like, what the college football playoffs, what conference championships are looking like here in the next couple of weeks. Week 9 of the NFL ended on a very sweet note for some of us. But what a week it was. Started off with Thursday. The Ravens beat the Dolphins 28-6. Patriots beat the Falcons 24-23. Chargers beat the Titans 27-20. Bears beat the Bengals in a very crazy game, 47-42. Steelers beat the Colts 27-20. 49ers beat the Giants 34-24. Broncos beat the Texans 18-15. Vikings beat the Lions 27-24. Panthers beat the Packers 16-13. Jaguars beat the Raiders 30-29 in overtime. But I must say, Raiders, way to play to win the game. Unlike the Packers. The Rams beat the Saints 34-10. Bills beat the Chiefs 28-21. Seahawks beat the Commanders 38-14. And then Monday night, we did have the Cardinals beating the Cowboys 27-17. So a great week, a lot of crazy matchups, some crazy endings too, all to come to a crazy Tuesday. But with that, it is time to bring in our guest, or not our guest, our normal Tato. Whenever he pops up, there he is. Tato, how's it going?
Doing good. Holy shit. I got to watch that whole game. The traffic in store had been slow the week leading into Sunday. And with the Vikings playing the Lions, Vikings games usually kind of kill traffic just in general. So combination of a slow week and a big important game, I was kind of like, hey, boss, probably should go in from 4 to 7 tonight instead of from, noon to 4 on this one. And she said, okay. And I was like, good deal. And I swear to whatever person you pray to, I intended to go in like at the tail end of Vikings Lions, but that Bears-Bengals game was getting really good. And there was a point where the scoreboard said 49-20, 28, I believe, 21, 28. Anyway, and I was like, man, this should feel really good. I should feel confident going to work right now. I don't. I did not feel confident going to work for obvious reasons. Reasons that almost played out in terror. However, Caleb Williams has the clutch gene. What is there to say about that? Sometimes you get it done.
I don't know if that's what it was. I mean, Colston Loveland on that play was the reason you think Caleb Williams has a clutch gene.
I'm just saying, even if Colston goes down where he goes down, you're pretty much in field goal range. He caught it right at field goal range and shit. So,
but the thing is, he didn't go down, and I lost a fantasy football game mainly because of his performance. Colston Loveland was my tight end I was going up against, and he scored 33 points. So that was fun. Yeah. And then the other game that really sealed my loss, because I lost by less than 1 point, was the Cowboys game, because Javonte Williams was one of my running backs. That drop fumble screwed me too. So I
got back in the win column in both fantasy leagues after Saquon double-dicked me last week and Jonathan Taylor double-dicked me 2 weeks ago. I played them in both leagues, both those weeks where they had the best performance of the week. Rough shake.
Yeah. But I must say, one of us had a decent week. The other one of us had, I would say, the best week that either one of us had since we've been doing this. Starting off with Antonio, our celebrity guest picker. Antonio went 10 of 4 with an accuracy rating of 71%, which is the second best of our celebrity guest pickers. Jay's still in the lead at 75%. Antonio now in second at 71%, followed by Chris Perkins at 69%, Potter's at 67%, and Alec Miller at 60%. So we'll have to see where our current celebrity guest picker sits in this ranking. But as I told you, Tato, Antonio and I were the same exact on every game but one. He got that game right. I did not. I finished at 9-5. Again, decent from where we normally sit. You, on the other hand, 12-2. If you were a celebrity guest picker with that performance, you'd be number one right now. Don't die. Killer week. That brings our overalls now. You are sitting at 86-49. I'm at 78-57. So you are starting to get a nice sizable gap on me. So I got to turn it around somewhere. I had it tight at one point. It was great. So Now it's time to bring in our celebrity guest picker. You've seen him on a show about trivia. You've seen him in Lights Out, where he made it to the semifinals. He's also made it pretty far in any ASAT tournament. He is JPO's second best tag team partner, Rick Weaver. Rick, how's it going?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, I'm JPO's number 2 in a lot of respects. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this, man. We've been talking about it for like a week or so now, so should be a fun time.
Absolutely. Do I taste onion?
Ketchup as well. Ketchup as well.
Well, traditionally, when I bring in our celebrity guest picker, we just go straight into the picks. But this week was trade deadline, and I will say the last couple years of the NFL season, trade deadline has been pretty exciting in my opinion. Used to, you'd get maybe 1 or 2 trades, nothing much, nothing like baseball and basketball, their trade deadlines. But the last several years, we've seen quite a bit of movement, and that was very much the case with this year. So we were breaking down some of them as they were going on. So the trades that I have not been able to cover, I want to cover with everyone involved because I want to get everyone's takes on it. So first we have, I believe this was Saturday. Yeah. The Eagles trade the 2026 6th-round draft pick for the 2027 7th-round draft pick and cornerback Jair Alexander from the Ravens. But the Eagles were not done. They also traded for Jalen Phillips of the Dolphins, giving Miami the 2026 3rd-round draft pick. We did have the Ravens adding to their defense, picking up linebacker Jermont Jones from the Titans, as they're sending the Titans a 5th-round pick. The Cowboys, we did hear before the game, Jerry made a comment about being involved with trades, and he was confirming one. I don't know if this was it, but I will say if this was the trade he was talking about, what a letdown. Dallas receives linebacker Logan Wilson from the Bengals. Dallas is sending the Bengals a 2026 7th-round draft pick. The Jaguars picking up wide receiver Jacoby Myers from the Raiders, sending the Raiders their 4th and 6th-round pick. And then possibly, in my opinion, the biggest trade that happened, the Colts receive cornerback Sauce Gardner from the Jets. Jets are receiving the 2026 1st-round draft pick, 2027 1st-round draft pick, and rookie wide receiver A.D. Mitchell from the Colts. The Seahawks and Saints were active. Seattle is getting wide receiver Rashid Shaheed. Saints are getting the 4th and 5th-round draft pick in this upcoming draft. Bears also active, getting defensive end Joe Tryon-Shavinka. Never asked Tato to spell that. And then a 7th and 6th-round pick swap with the Browns. And then other big news coming out of Dallas, the Cowboys are receiving defensive tackle Quinion Williams. Jets receive Mozzie Smith, a 2nd-round draft pick in this upcoming draft, and next year's 1st-round draft pick. So a lot of big movements here. Jets getting a lot of draft capital, having 2 1st-round draft picks this upcoming draft, 3 next year. I know I was saying a couple of weeks ago I wanted to see either a cornerback or a edge rusher going to Philadelphia. With the Brandon Graham signing, I was a little more hopeful we'd get a cornerback. Rick, I don't know what your opinion was on where we were sitting and what our needs were, but we got both. And then Tato also looking to get an edge rusher, did get a defensive end. So I just want to open it up to y'all. What move surprised you? What are you excited about? And what move do you hate? Tato, you are muted.
Yep.
Hey-o. But yeah, anytime you can get a former 1st-rounder in, 2021, he was a 1st-rounder 4 years ago. Like, we've seen what happened with, Darnold and cats like that resurging late in their career. So hopefully Chicago is a fresh start for him. He was solid in Tampa. Wasn't doing anything in Cleveland, unfortunately, this year. So obviously that's why they get rid of him. But you trade a 6 for a 7 and you get a guy who could potentially be awesome. That would be dope. Even if not, we were pretty injury ravaged, especially with Dio Dengbo going down this week. So we definitely needed that edge help. I also, in the same boat, need corner help as well. Asante Samuel visiting the Bears among 5 other teams, I believe. Hopefully that one goes, and definitely wish Asante Samuel nothing but the best regardless of where he ends up. So hopefully that one goes. Eagles doing good. Like, why do people answer the phone when Howie calls is a mystery to me. The only reason I would answer the phone if Howie Roseman, if Howie's calling me, it's like, hey, I want this guy, and then I'm signing that guy to a fucking 5-year contract because, yeah, if Howie's saying he wants the guy, probably a good pick.
And then Rick, any thoughts you want to add also?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited about the Eagles' moves. Like you said, they needed help on defense specifically, and they went and got pieces. I mean, I live in the Philadelphia area. There was lots of talk about going after Myles Garrett for 3 first-rounders the next 3 years, and I personally would have been okay with that. But when you look at Howie Roseman and what he's done in the drafts, you know, you'd be giving up people like Jahad Campbell and Quinyon Mitchell, you know, retroactively kind of thing. But yeah, I'm excited about their moves. I think Sauce going to the Colts is a big deal. The Colts made some moves to try to solidify their run that they're having this year, although called into question a little bit this past week, in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the moves the Eagles made for sure. And I'm sure Sauce Gardner's excited about moving from a team that's 1-7 or 2-7 to a team that's 7-2. And the Jets look like they're trying to plan for their future. I think they have I want to say it's 6 first and second round picks the next 2 years. I think now
2 first next year, 3 in the year.
I
actually don't hate. Yeah, I don't hate the trade from the Jets' point of view on paper, but because it's the Jets, there's surely no way it's gonna go well. No. So that's unfortunate, but really, I don't think the Jets got totally fleeced in that trade or anything the way I thought. When I heard they traded Sauce, I thought it was going to be a second or maybe a second and a third or something. I didn't think there was going to be any first round activity, let alone a pair of firsts. So,
yeah, no, definitely. Again, us, 5 first round draft picks next year and the year after. So yeah, I'm very excited to see how the Jets jetted up. And what's going to happen is your first overall pick in this upcoming draft pick is going to be quarterback out of Miami, Carson Beck. I'm calling it right now.
Seems not unlike that's not an overreaction, Rich.
Be very much a Jets move. Give it to the guy who in the clutch has an amazing completed pass to the wrong team. But with that, a lot of exciting things coming up in these next couple weeks. And so let's talk about it. Are y'all ready to make some picks? Yeah, I'm ready to make some picks. So our first game we have Thursday night. The Raiders are traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos. Denver is a 9.5 point favorite. Again, Rick, the way we do this, we just pick who you think's going to win. I don't care about covering anything like that. But if you want to add whatever you want, do it. But I just want to know who you think is going to win. I'm going to go first on this one. I think this is a scary game for Denver because we just watched the Raiders. The Jaguars could not stop Brock Bowers. Looks like he's at 150% right now. The Raiders played great, and Broncos are having some health issues on defense. So I think it's going to be a close game, but I do think the Broncos narrowly edge out the Raiders here. I have the Broncos winning by a last-second field goal, just like they did last week. Tato, what's your pick here?
Yeah, the ball be sailing in Denver. I will also go with the Broncos.
All right, and Rick, who's your pick?
Yeah, I'm piggybacking with you guys. I just think the Broncos know how to win games. They have a good young team, and I think they're going to take the Raiders.
All right. Next, we have the Berlin game first, starting off us early on Sunday morning as the Falcons take on, we just talked about them, the Colts. Sauce Gardner did take a plane to Berlin, so he might play here. Tato, who's your pick?
Fuck. I was going to Google how to say it in German, but I'll go with the Colts.
All right, Rick, who's your pick?
I think this is my my upset special of the week. I think Atlanta is going to beat the Colts. I think Danny Dimes got in his head a little bit last week with 5 turnovers. So I think Atlanta is going to have the better game. I don't think it's going to be high scoring, but I think Atlanta wins this one.
All right. Atlanta is on a 3-game losing streak right now. But this Falcons team is either can't beat the Dolphins or beats the Bills, and you never know what you're going to get with this team. I do think this pass rush can affect Danny Dimes, Indiana Daniel Jones. But that being said, I do think we get a bounce back from the Colts here. I do think they get the win as well. Now we have our 1 o'clock games. First one we have 2 winning franchises. The Browns are traveling to New York to take on the Jets. Oh, did I say winning? Browns are 2.5-point favorites. Rick, who's your pick here?
I saw somebody joke this should be the 2 before a.m. game of the week. I picked the Browns. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game, but I picked the Browns.
So there's one reason this game should not be the 2 before a.m. game. Last week we saw Cam Little kicking a record for the longest field goal at 68 yards.
Yep.
I think this game here, everyone's going to want to watch 9 plays, and that is Myles Garrett sacking Justin Fields, turning into Tyrod Taylor, turning into whoever their third string backup quarterback is. I'm calling it right now. Myles Garrett breaks the record for most sacks in a game this game, and Browns get the win. Tato, who's your pick?
I have no bold proclamations or anything, but I shall join you and take the Cleveland Steamers.
All right, next we have the Jaguars traveling to Houston to take on the Texans. This is actually one that changed. Jacksonville is now a 1.5-point favorite. Possibly the reason why the odds changed based on when I wrote this down. CJ Stroud is out this game. Not on injured reserve. He's just out. So we'll see how long he is out for. Davis Mills is getting the start for Houston. I'm going to go first on this one. Jags obviously have been having issues on offense, hoping to alleviate that a little bit with Jacoby Myers. But Travis Etienne, I think this is a nice little comeback game for him too. I have the Jags winning here. Tato, who's your pick?
Wait 1 second. Let me just get my Davis Mills on. Yeah. Yeah, I'll take the Jaguars. Jaguar.
All right, and Rick, who's your pick?
I agree. I also have the Jaguars. I think CJ Stroud is too big of a piece for the Texans that were already not the greatest, and I think Jacksonville wins.
All right, next we have the Bills traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Bills are 8.5-point favorites. Tato, we are going to you first.
Yeah, betting against Buffalo seems like a fool's errand. I will not do that.
All right, and Rick.
Yeah, this feels like one of those college football games that should have a spread of like 23 points, which is usually a sucker bet, but I would take Buffalo hands down.
I'm going to say I missed most of those bets because Penn State's a 50-point favorite, and they only win by 42.
Yeah.
And I'm pissed off because, like, why did we go for the last 3 touchdowns, guys? No, like Tato said, betting against the Bills is a fool's errand. And luckily I'm a fool, but not by that much. I'm going with the Bills also. Next, we have the Patriots traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. Buccaneers are 2.5-point favorites. Rick, we go to you first.
I think this is probably the game of the week. Drake May seems to just being a sophomore, like can't do anything wrong, period. And Baker Mayfield looks good this year too, but I think New England wins. I think this could be a very, very good game now.
All right. Yep. New England has been on a great win streak. Tampa Bay has been the team of destiny. It seems like no matter who's hurt, they're able to just overcome whatever. I'm going next here, and we have all three had the same picks every game, but that streak ends here. I think the Buccaneers just have enough magic in them to keep the team of destiny going. Coming off of that bye week, hopefully a couple of those questionable players are able to play to give them just some extra weapons. I have the Bucs. Tato, what about you?
Yeah, I don't know how my exact numbers are on this one, but this is one of those ones that's tight booty, and I'm just going to give it to the home team. I will say Tampa gets it done here. I think it's mostly served me well. Hopefully it continues to do that.
And then just like every single week, I make a huge blunder. I just looked, and Rick did pick the Falcons when we picked the Colts.
I was going to say, I think there was one other game.
There's one other. This isn't the first time I put my foot in my mouth on something. And you know what? It won't be the last. All right, next we have the Giants traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. Tato, you know how we do this. You're going first on this one. Bears are 4.5-point favorites. I don't know if I said that yet.
Yeah, Bears playing very decent football. Obviously, a little bit to be desired from the defense on that last one, but shoring it up. CJ Gardner-Johnson did play and played very well for a person who had been on the team for 4 days at the time. So hopefully they shore up the D on that one. We'll see what Tryon Shoyinka brings to the table. Maybe shores up the edge a little bit, which frees up the corners to not be just battered all season long or battered all night. Also, not playing against T. Higgins and Jamar Chase will probably do wonders for the secondary as well. But I got the Bears getting this one done.
All right, Rick, we go to you next.
I've always wanted to do this. 2 words, the Bears.
Well, I am glad I can help you live out a fantasy. I'm going to go next, and I have not been happy with Caleb Williams with any week that I watch him play. I just always feel like he's not a starting quarterback in this league. I have noticed there's one way to make Caleb Williams look like that, and that's to have a good defense up against him, or at least a good pass rush. And the Giants are like that weird team who has a really solid pass rush. I think the Giants get the win here. Suck it, Tato.
Wow.
Next, we have the Ravens traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Ravens are a 4.5-point favorites. I will go first on this one. I think the Ravens are starting that comeback to maybe win the division. That division is still very, very wide open. I think Minnesota has been had that weird win against Detroit. I think they're on a high, but they're not going to be on that high much longer. I have the Ravens winning here. Tato, what about you?
Yeah, that's probably how that one's going to go down. And also, I would just love to see the NFC North thin out a little bit because holy shit, is that division stacked. I will take Baltimore.
All right, Rick, who is your pick here?
I'm going to go against the grain. I'm a JJ McCarthy believer. And I think that the Vikings are going to get it done. I think it being in Minnesota is the difference maker here. So I picked Minnesota.
I am a JJ McCarthy believer also, whereas I believe he is not that good of a quarterback. Michigan beat Penn State with legitimately JJ McCarthy throwing 3 times. That should tell you everything you need to know about him. Next,
real quick, just curious. Did you say something about Baker playing MVP level football?
I don't think I said anything like that in this episode.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Probably in the last several weeks, I've made that comment.
Grabbing gnats.
All right, next we have the Saints traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Panthers are 5.5-point favorites. Rick, I'm going to go to you first here.
I mean, thanks to the Panthers, my fantasy team has gotten a resurgence because I picked up Dottle about 4 weeks ago off the waiver wire. I have him and Hubbard on my team. And Bryce Young, when he's been healthy, has seemingly played decent, especially for a guy who was benched his rookie year, if I remember correctly. So I don't think the Saints are a very good football team. I think them losing Rashid Shaheed, I believe is how you say it, definitely hurts them on the offensive side of a team that was already struggling. So I think Carolina.
Yep. I was very surprised we did not hear Chris Olave's name come up in trades. But yeah, no, losing Rashid, huge loss for the Saints. Also huge loss for the Saints. Just having to play football in general. It's just going to be a huge loss for the Saints. No, it doesn't matter if Bryce Young plays great or plays like he did last year when he got benched. Give it to Dowdle, give it to Hubbard. They're going to win. I have the Panthers. Tato, what about you?
And I remember when the Saints were the Aints back in the day, and then Drew Brees happened, and then the Saints were the Aints again. That's unfortunate for them. I will go with the Panthers here. Surprisingly above 500 Panthers.
Remember when they beat Atlanta 30-0? I remember that. That was it for our 1:00 games. Now we move on to the 4:05 games. We have the Cardinals traveling to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Seahawks are 6.5-point favorites. Other big news coming out of this game or coming into this game, Kyler Murray has been placed on injured reserve. He's missed 2 or 3 weeks so far, and he will be set to miss the next 4. So Jacoby Brissett will be making the start for Arizona once again. I'm going to go first on this one. This is one of those where I don't know where to go because I go with the Seahawks and they lose and they look awful, or they win on a last-second field goal, which happened the last time they played the Cardinals. And I don't pick the Cardinals because they're not that good either. So it's going to be a really close game because I have the Seahawks winning this one. Tato, what's your pick here?
Just double check it's quick size. Yeah, Seahawks 6-2. They have not done a whole lot of losing. If I recall correctly, around late September, early October last year, I said, Sam Darnold's gonna turn into a pumpkin eventually. That still has not fucking happened. So I might have to eat my words a little bit. I'm still holding that, fuck you, man, because Tom's gonna tell on that one. With that said, I will not be betting against him in this situation. I will take the Seahawks.
3 years from now, he's going to have a horrible game, and Tato's going to be like, I called it. He turned into a pumpkin. I knew it was going to happen. Rick, what's your pick here?
Well, I have a personal vendetta against Jacoby Brissett because he cost me my fantasy matchup this past week in my money league. So out of spite, I'm going for Seattle. So.
All right. Spite's definitely the reason why I make some of my picks, so I'm all for it. Next, we have the Lions traveling to Washington to take on the Commanders. Detroit is an 8.5-point favorite. And what's weird is I haven't heard anything on Jaden Daniels' injury. Like, he's not playing, is he? How long is he out for? I haven't heard. I heard dislocated elbow, and that's it.
I would think he's done for the year.
Okay. Yeah, I see that he's out. I'm like, I haven't seen like a Adam Schefter pop-up notification saying how long he's out for.
I did read one today that said there's still actually like kind of static. They're getting more opinions and shit. So I think that's where it's at still today.
What's going to happen is they're going to lose every game up until the Week 18 game. And he's going to be eligible to play again. And Dan Quinn's like, put him back out there. We need him. We still have a chance. No, Tato, it's your turn. Go first.
Gotcha. Sorry. I will I go with the Lions on this one.
I know it must hurt. Rick, what's your pick here?
I mean, I have a legit question. Who's the quarterback for Washington now?
Marcus Mariota.
I don't think that sways it enough for me. I think Detroit's going to win. They're probably a little sour after losing to Minnesota last week. And I think they have a bounce back game.
Dan Campbell doesn't strike me as a guy who would have a chip on his shoulder or anything like that.
Absolutely not. No, it's great. No matter who's their starting quarterback, the Commanders have a former Heisman winning second overall pick at quarterback. I think that the Lions are really upset that Jaden's not playing because they want to have that revenge against them from the playoffs last year. But they'll settle for beating the crap out of the Commanders with Mariota. I also have the Lions winning. Next, we have the Rams traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Rams are 4.5-point favorites. Rick, who's your pick here?
Puka Nacua getting hurt last week worries me a little bit. I see he's questionable. But I think the Rams are a better team than the 49ers, especially if it's still Mac Jones under the gun. So I'm going to pick the Rams.
All right, I'm going to go next here. I believe they played each other earlier this season, and the 49ers got the win. So the Rams are hoping to get some revenge there. But the Rams have also just been playing very well, regardless of Puka being in or not. I think they keep up with that momentum, and I think the Rams get the win here also. Tato, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought about maybe making this one the one where I get froggy, but I'm going to take the Rams here too.
All right, and next we have the Sunday night football classic between the Steelers and the Chargers. This is in LA. Chargers are a 2.5-point favorite. I'm going to go first here on this one. I always laughed at the Steelers having the number one highest paid defense in the league and haven't really been able to do anything. And they did something last week. Chargers still having issues with an offensive line. Joe Alt is having surgery on wherever he's hurting. But he is having season-ending surgery, so he will miss the remainder of the season. Chargers are without both of their starting tackles. I think the Steelers, with the momentum that they've had from last week, I think that defense, TJ Watt just eats up Justin Herbert alive, and the Steelers get the win. Tato, what's your pick?
Yeah, this one I will go against the odds on, and I'm actually going to say this one on the power of Aaron Rodgers being in California, where he, calls home, loves to be. Yeah, I think this will be just a one for the ages Aaron Rodgers performance. I don't love to say that, but that's what I'm feeling.
All right, and Rick, who's your pick here?
I'm going to go against you guys on this one and go for the Chargers. I'm not sure why, but the Chargers just speak to me this week. I don't think they're an awesome team, but I was drawn to them when I picked the games, and I usually try to go with the gut. So that's what I'm doing.
Hey, you have to go with your gut sometimes. I appreciate it. All right, Monday Night Football. The two number one seed teams, two division leaders, and this could be your NFC number one overall seed based on the winner here. The Eagles traveling to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Packers are 2.5-point favorites. Rick, I normally go first when the Eagles are playing, but I'm going to share some love to you and let you go first. Who's your pick here?
I appreciate the love and passing the ball to me this time. I think the Eagles, coming off of a bye week, hopefully A.J. Brown is back to being healthy and leaves his attitude at home. I think the new additions are going to be excited for playing for winning teams. I think the Eagles, everything seemed to come together their last game. They were firing on all cylinders. They played a complete 4-quarter game. And Green Bay, coming off a loss to Carolina, I think the Eagles are going to light them up. So I picked Philadelphia.
All right. I'm going to echo a lot of your sentiments here. Philadelphia has been playing amazing these last couple of weeks. Not last week, but the week before definitely was probably their first complete game, which is very surprising because A.J. Brown was not there, but he has had 2 weeks to rest. We're coming off of the bye week, and you can say Micah Parsons is one of the best edge rushers of all time, or at least playing right now. We'll give him that credit. But who eats Micah Parsons' lunch every time they play? And that is Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson has not allowed a sack or even a quarterback pressure. I think he's allowed one when blocking Micah Parsons. He's the best tackle in football right now. And yeah, our defense getting some great additions there. Brandon Graham also coming back, should be playing in this game too. I think we get just enough pressure on Jordan Love to get a couple stops that we really need, and I have the Eagles winning. Tato, close us out.
Not even out of a desire to go against the grain on the Packers, but I think the Eagles are the best team in football right now, and they're getting better as they tend to do around the trade deadline. Probably going to pick up some heat. Yep, definitely love what you guys have going on. And Papa, I have Eagles trivia for you after this. So, okay,
I can't wait. So with that, long outro, no more. Make smart choices or don't. I don't care. I'm not your dad, but I could be your papa.